This is a little thing I'd like to call Brownie. It's a brown Galaxy with the round blade. From what I understand, you really don't see that often. I got schooled on the different styles of Galaxy table fans a little earlier today because I have to be honest, I really don't know much about them. After all, I only have one other, a blue one. And the last brown one I had, well, there's a story about that which I'll tell in just a moment. But what I found is that the blue ones came first, and then in about 1982 they switched to the brown. And then between 87 and 88, they had these round blades. I also found out how to decode the dates on these, and apparently this fan is a 1988. And in case you don't know, on the bottom of this base here, there is a number written in ink under there, and whatever the first number is, which in this case is an 8, is the last number of the year. I did not know that either. I figure I'll go ahead and tell my story with one of these before I had this one. When I was very young, probably, I don't know, 5, 6 maybe, I found one of these in the old sunroom of the farmhouse back before the said sunroom became the laundry room that it is today. When we remodeled, this would have been before the house was remodeled, so, you know, it was mostly down to the studs and no air conditioning, things of that nature. It was a summer trip, so it was hot, and I just happened to cross this thing out there and said, hey, I could use that right about now. Only there was a small problem, because I found out that one of the blades had broken off, just because brittle plastic, I guess, and was lodged in one of the grill spokes. And being that I was 5 years old at the time, and thus stupid as hell, I said, well, masking tape will fix that. Masking tape did not fix that. And what ended up happening is, when I went to turn it on, a little later that night, I was I had the fan sitting on a cooler, and my cousin and I were sitting in chairs opposite the cooler, and we were hoping to enjoy the breeze from the fan, because it was nice and hot in the house. It was probably a good 95 degrees in there. It was hot. It was the middle of summer. It hadn't cooled down. The sun hadn't been down long enough at that point that it would have had time to cool off, so, you know, we had every fan running we could find. And we took the front grill off for some reason. Still don't know why. And of course, one of those blades flew, the one that I had reattached with the masking tape, flew off and hit him upside the head, and I haven't seen that fan since. Now this one, a friend of mine found. I have to ask him again where he found. I think he said he found it on the curb somewhere, and just saw it and knew I would like it, so he grabbed it for me, and I'm very glad that he did, because apparently these brown ones with the round blades are pretty hard to find. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Probably want to see this run. Oscillation's going to be fun. It does oscillate, but that mechanism's a little bit screwy, to say the least. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to fix that yet. But I really don't care what it looks like as long as it works. These buttons are a little bit, they could use a little work, but, you know. This thing was utterly filthy when he brought it to me yesterday. It's still flinging dust out of the grills. I actually have at the farm, you may have seen it, I have a nameplate to one of these. Just a nameplate. That's all I have. And I'm honestly wondering if that nameplate may not have been to the one that I had when I was little. There's low speed. The buttons are kind of sticky and stiff, as you'll see. You kind of have to play with them a little bit. Probably need a good shot of contact cleaner, too. I'm also not sure I like what the previous owner did here with the zip ties. Well, not zip ties. Twist ties. Holding the grill on, but it's actually a good idea. If you don't have the if you don't have the latches, which I don't have for my blue one either, which will be in a video here in just a little bit. And so I've kind of more or less done the same thing, because I had that done with zip ties previously, but then I had to cut the zip ties every time I wanted to clean it, so I said, well, let's get some twist ties like that, and then I won't have to do that. Ooh, it actually went straight to high this time. Sometimes you're going to have to play with the high button, I found out with this thing. That runs okay. Doesn't run quite as well, quite as fast, quite as smooth as the blue one. But of course, the blue one I don't think saw much use. This one looked like it got, well, to put it bluntly, it looked like this thing had put up with a lot of crap. Go ahead and spin it down. I will say, if it is bearings, they certainly spin perfectly freely. It takes a sweet time spinning down. Again, not as much so as the blue one, but you know. I'm also wondering if the capacitor may or may not be drifting a little bit in this thing, that it wouldn't have earned the right after all these years. I'll see if I can make the oscillator work. Okay, I pushed it down. See if it'll actually oscillate now. Oh yeah. Oscillation seems to work pretty well. I'm impressed. Okay. I'm very impressed. First I have to figure out how to get it to quit oscillating so I can have it back pointing straight forward as I usually would with these, but might be a pair of needle nose pliers in here somewhere that can help me pull that back up. Is it actually rotating? Yeah. So there you go. I need to do these kind of videos with a lot of my old desk fans. I have several. So this will be the first chapter, and the blue one's right here behind me, getting ready for its turn. So I guess I'll start this video uploading, and in the meantime film that. So in the meantime, here's a 1988 Galaxy 12-1 in brown.